What if someone you lost who had died returned? This episode of AFTERBUZZ TV is brought to you by the powerful and riveting new drama, Resurrection. You won't be able to stop watching or talking about it. Resurrection premiering on Sunday night, March 9th at 9/8 Central, only on ABC. You're not going to want to miss it.
Mr. Langston, did your son go missing, sir? I haven't. He's okay.
My son died 32 years ago.
What if someone you lost returned?
Daddy! Honey, who is it?
Jacob. I'm coming home. The television series event begins.
You're not the only one, there's others.
Resurrection. Series premieres Sunday, March 9th on ABC.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies.
This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Reign After Show.
We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show.
It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Reign After Show.
Oh, all right. Not like salt and pepper.
Curveball.
Yeah, this is
I was not
expecting this, Phil. Okay, let's talk about sex. We got a lot of it tonight. We gotta wait for the chorus. Wait for the chorus. Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about...
Hello, everybody. We are back again doing your favorite after show for your favorite show, Reign. This was episode 13. Consummation!
Consummate me, baby.
Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Keetin Marchi, and I have two lovely ladies to my left here.
That's us.
Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Hey guys, it's Fahnia and I'm back.
Yay!
Hi! I've missed you all. And Phil.
And Fahnia interviewed Oprah recently. So
I did.
We're one degree from Oprah.
I did. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like a dream. But anyway.
That's fun. Hello, guys. I am Meagan Medick, and I'm not even ashamed to say that was the best episode of Reign I have ever seen.
Yes, it was. Yes,
We're all pretty pumped.
I think we saw every guy with their shirt off.
Yes, and there was some talk that we weren't that impressed.
Yeah. Some are wins, some are losses.
Okay. Well, before we get into all the sex and consummation that happened in
How
this
many
week's
ways
episode.
can we say sex and consummation, intercourse, shagging,
We can make a little game out of
banging,
it.
smushing? Come on now. What else you got? Anything?
Coitus.
Coitus?
What the?
Coitus?
Yeah. Okay.
Old
Big
school?
Bang Theory reference, anyone?
Okay, guys. Well,
Bang bang.
Before we dive deeper into this,
Diving deeper.
Oh, yeah.
before we dive deeper, you guys, I know you heard Maria talk about the show before our episode, but I just want to talk a little bit more about the new ABC drama Resurrection. So we just want to give you a little bit more info.
Yeah, it's something that I cannot even wrap my head around. Imagine if someone that you loved passed away, a brother, a grandma, maybe even your next door neighbor who was your favorite play date. They passed away, and all of a sudden they just come back. Doesn't that sound crazy?
So it'd be like if my grandmother showed up on my doorstep or something. That's weird.
Yeah, like, what up, Keetin?
That's kooky.
Well, first of all, my grandma
Wouldn't say what up,
but that's
you know.
weird.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what is happening on the new show Resurrection, a small town, Arcadia, Missouri. You'd never suspect it, but people who have passed away are slowly coming back. Yeah.
And doesn't it all start with an 8-year-old boy named Jacob who he just shows up on his parents' doorstep. They're totally confused, and that's because he actually passed away 32 years ago.
Yeah, and I think it's so crazy because haven't the parents aged that?
Yeah, the
32
parents have aged. Yeah, they're old.
Yeah, well, it's such a fun premise for a show, I think. And I think that the plot and the mystery is just going to deepen as more and more people return from the grave.
And the previews are so powerful. Even like the billboards that I've seen around LA that just says like you've died. They freak me out.
It reminds me of The Sixth Sense.
Yes. And it's a little bit like Lost too.
Yeah.
Like it's like all these theories that I just can't. It's a concept that's never been touched on before, and I think it's going to be so interesting to see where it goes.
Well, it's definitely the kind of chatter that we cover here at AfterBuzz, that office water cooler talk. So definitely gonna have to cover it.
And it's not zombies, it's not vampires, it's not any of that type of stuff. It's a completely new concept, which I love.
Keetin, tell me when it premieres again.
Well, it premieres Sunday, March 9th. This weekend, you guys, Sunday, March 9th, 9/8 Central on ABC. So again, ABC's Resurrection premieres this Sunday, March 9th at 9/8 Central. Check it out, you guys.
I will be resurrecting there. Get it?
Well, you can also catch AfterBuzz. AfterBuzz will be following the TV show Resurrection too. So check out our after show. And we need to move on because she's struggling over here. Let's just talk about, you know who would smack you silly for saying something like that? Mary's mother, Mary DeGuise. Sassy, feisty girl, and I loved her.
Mama's in the house for real.
You know what? I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't wrap my head around her. I thought that she was kind of odd. I'm like, I just.
She's a better version of Catherine.
Yeah.
She's an ice.
No one's better than Catherine.
In no way is she better than Catherine. In no way. I think that she's fresh to the scene, so she was allowed to manipulate from a different angle, and that was her advantage. But there was she just had this weird confidence, and it was kooky, and I didn't find her feminine. I just didn't see. I don't know.
No, she came
I
in.
wouldn't expect her to be a royal. That's all I'm saying.
She came in to handle business. Mama knows best, and Mama came in to get stuff done. Like she said, I sent you here to marry a prince, not a bastard. She came in ice cold. She handled the business, and that's like she said. She's been living like a king. So enough with this love, which doesn't rule. In this day and era, we know that it's all about business and politics. Mom came in and handled business, which moms do.
And when Mom came in, it did bother me again. This hasn't come up yet since I think the first episode, but the fact that she comes in and it was almost like she had an American accent. The accents just need to get. They bother me. And
You've always hated them.
No,
Okay.
Unnecessary roughness.
Here's the thing. We're in France. No one's speaking France. Nobody. Just. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, but like it was like her accent
Been
went
around
in
the
and
world,
out.
don't speak the
They
language.
went in and out. Oh, God.
Sorry, I know.
We gotta
God,
put you
I'm
on
so
timeout.
sorry.
That's what we need to whistle again.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
No, it just like she comes in and I loved the actress. I loved the character and the way that she played Mary's mom. I thought all of her scenes that she was in, she was so powerful and she was so awesome. It's just and I forgot about it by the end of the episode. But at the beginning of the episode, it really bothered me that she didn't have a Scottish accent. She's talking Scotland this, Scotland that, but I don't even have an English accent.
Okay,
It
she
was
didn't
weird.
have the accent, but she had the jewels. Can I just say shout out to the jewels for a moment?
Yes, I
Which
was
jewels
there
are we talking
too.
about?
I saw you look at me and I was like, I totally
You gotta
opened
check
up that
out
door.
CW.com for more jewels tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, the necklace that she came in with was to die. Mary's earrings in the beginning were to die. Catherine's rubies were to die. Like I was just
Shout
all
out
over
to
the
the
jewels.
entire costume staff on Reign.
depart-
Just
yeah.
like bow down.
Again,
Oh,
bow down, bitches. Bow down.
And I
bitches.
see, like you came prepared
I
for
had
wedding.
to. It was a wedding. I had to.
Hello. This is. Did you not notice the bun? I did this because
your
this
wedding
is how
hat?
Mary would want me to do my hair for her wedding. The only reason. Seriously, this is what Mary wants.
But you guys kind of did the necklace thing.
Yeah,
You
I have
wore
on my
your
rosary.
That was
Like, you know.
It's time to pray.
Well, we all need to pray for Catherine, who was cracking me up this entire episode because at the beginning it opens up and it seems like she's maybe planning a wedding, but she's actually planning her death and execution and doing it in such a Catherine fashion.
Yep.
Medici. It's such a Medici thing.
What I liked is, I think as Catherine is becoming more powerless, especially in those particular moments, and kind of her and Mary are coming together. What I like is Mary's mother is really siding with Henry. You know what I mean? And I think more and more we're going to see kind of Mary and Catherine be allies in a weird way. especially, I mean, now that she's married to the son.
Well, and I wonder.
Spoiler alert. Jeez, Phil.
Yeah, God, we haven't gotten there.
We haven't seen this
Do you see how many
episode.
topics we have to go over?
But I do I love Catherine, and I love how she needs things in a certain place. She needs people in their seating chart and the flowers. And I love how even in her death, she cares about the things like her jewels. She's like, don't hit the clasp. I promise it to one of my handmaidens.
Yes,
I'm like, oh, girl.
All the pomp and circumstance you want from a queen. Like,
Yep.
who else can do that?
Yeah.
She's like, if I'm going out, I am going out in style. And I
Yes.
really appreciated that. And I loved, we've all been huge fans of Catherine this entire season
and
of
out.
Reign. Well, I mean, just the character's fun. The character's great.
is.
But the dynamic between Catherine and Marie de Guise was just so funny because Catherine almost got out Catherined by Marie. Like she got a little like she couldn't handle it. She was so concerned with so many other things, and Marie came in and was just like, boom, 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 paid off that guard to give you false information about the Queen of England that she died. So then Henry rushes the wedding, and then she has to choose, and then so.
But even I will say this, obviously Catherine wants to go out on a high note, but even her doing so, it allotted her time. And if nothing else, it drove Henry crazy. It really, she knows what it's all about. Remember how many times in the past when Diane and Bash, you remember Bash in particular said, why are you his favorite son? Well, it's because we don't ask for anything. And now that Catherine's going, all the way and saying like, hey, I need this, and I need this, and so it bothered Henry, and it got her the time that she needed. And I don't, she was at her wit's end, but luck was on her side, as it may be.
Not only that, but he said he couldn't afford it. Like, where's his money at? Like, he got coins. Like, he's a king.
He got coins.
Where his money at?
I didn't get that.
The money was around all the girls' necks.
Yeah.
You saw those jewels,
Apparently.
the bling bling. But so very quickly into this episode, we see Mary's mom comes in. She kind of mixes things up. Mary is about to make the rash decision to just elope with Bash because she can tell her mom is up to no good and is going to do whatever she can to make sure she doesn't marry Bash. Catherine is preparing for her death while thinking she's kind of out of luck. And then we see who's not so hot anymore, Thomas.
For the record, I never said he was hot.
Ditto Medick.
I think I was just so.
We said that.
I was so hypnotized by his voice because his voice is really
Oh
cool.
my gosh, when Phil and I were watching, I'm like, why does he talk like that? Phil, do your impersonation. It was so good.
Because it's so much dramatic.
I'm like, it's good. But why does he have to talk like that?
I like his voice. I think it's sexy.
Okay, but do you...
Well, you keep.
Oh god,
First.
where is she? It sounds like Batman.
No, it's not like Schmeagol or like the Grim
no,
Reaper.
no.
So, but
it's okay.
Nostradamus, we see him, and we find out how he gets his visions. And apparently
His visions
it's by asphyxiation.
Right.
Which, what? Why?
So apparently that's how he first got his gift, was by almost dying. So he goes back to that. But then it's like, well, you're going to risk your life to possibly get the gift back?
Well, it's symbolic in a way because he gets these things every time he comes close to death, and I mean he's killing himself.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No, he's killing himself every time he gets these visions because all in all it ends up only hurting him and his soul is being sucked
so
away.
deep.
And remember, I mean, at the end he lies to Catherine about why is Keetin laughing?
Spoken like a true fan, Phil.
No, that was Phil. You were on the
you're
right
good, you're
track.
good.
I was laughing at Fahnia because she just goes, "It's so deep." It's like.
Fahnia, you're gone.
No, I'm saying like what you were saying is deep. It is symbolic. You're right. And she took
especially
it.
now,
my
now
mind
that
is so
Clarissa
in the
is
gutter.
back.
Oh.
Which, by the way, okay, I know. Megan's going to talk about one of the fans. She was upset. There was a fan who was very upset that we didn't talk about Mary, and we'll talk about that more at length.
Yeah.
But we took so much heat about how could you guys think Clarissa is dead, not dead, and we were like, who's wrong now?
Yeah.
Who is wrong now, fans? Sorry to call you out.
Ooh, no, she's too creepy to die. Even like I didn't watch it with you guys.
There's no
Like,
way she would have died. They wouldn't have played the end of that episode like they did.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd bring her back this quickly. honestly, but it's got things moving, and
I thought she was gonna come back as a ghost. Like I was like, oh, she's not. If anything, we're gonna see her again. But
and here's going back to the visions and things like that. It's kind of very Lord of the Rings-esque, right? And more so in the books than we perhaps saw in the movie. But every time someone saw a vision, it was a partial truth, and it always.
Did you guys see her read those?
I didn't even read those. I just know those.
I saw them, and I really liked them. I tried to read them, and I couldn't get it.
Look, what?
I'm like,
well, the point being that
They're great
everyone
movies.
always sees this half truth and always galvanizes people into action of like, oh my God, this is going to happen, and by doing so, it just gets all misconstrued. And these vision things, man.
I agree with
you. Gotta be
Phil.
so careful
I agree.
because Nostradamus. He has this asphyxiation. He hangs himself. The lady saves him, but in his vision, he's like, oh crap, I'm gonna be killed for this, because he basically sees a happy life for Mary and Francis.
Yeah.
But you know what? I cannot spend another episode on Nostradamus's half-truths and visions.
I know.
The first one was right. This one we
old.
only saw half.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad he got laid this episode.
Yeah.
Redhead was cute, but I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe anymore.
but now that we know he has a bad body, there's really just no point for him to be on the show.
You just want to kill him off.
Yeah, like
Catherine to kill
you
him.
can go now. It's not what we wanted.
I can't. I just, with Nostradamus and his prophecies, I won't be bamboozled.
It is getting annoying because
is.
it's like if he's the only one who's having these visions, it's like he's like the only kind of mythical creature that we're dealing with now. I know we got some crazy people in the forest, but the others, the pagans. But yeah, I would agree. It's getting a little old. This whole back and forth of Mary Frances, like it's getting old. I want to have some deeper storylines, some more things come out.
Yeah, I want something to build. Now he's just toying with me because I finally got what I always wanted. The only thing I wanted was Francis and Mary together. I finally got it.
Team Francis!
And then, I'm just so happy. I'm on cloud 9. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I had a vision. He's dead again. Like, I'm out of it. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's fine. No one will notice.
So with, Nostradamus brings this new vision of what he thinks is a happy ending for Mary and Francis if they do end up getting together. Brings it to Catherine, basically says Clarissa's death has changed Francis's fate because his visions, they always were Catherine's firstborn would die. And that was before they knew Clarissa was his firstborn. Which, again, that's not the visions that we saw. He literally saw Francis dying. He didn't, I felt like that was kind of like a weird, he was like, oh, I'm trying to understand it, and I think this is what it means. I think it meant your firstborn.
If I was Catherine at that point, I'd be like, you're full of crap. Like, my hands are in the air. You suck. You've screwed up everyone's life, and you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and so she goes to Francis. This leads Catherine going to Francis and being like, you need to go get your woman. Like, if you love Mary, if you love me, if you love your brothers, and you want us, and you want to be the king of France, get on your horse, and you go claim your woman. And it was kind of nice to see, like, Catherine be on Mary's side for once. That made me so happy, because I do love when they team up.
Yeah.
But, it makes me think a little less of Mary, too, because immediately she's like, yes, Francis, yes.
Well, the second, it was so powerful when Francis walked back into the castle and he was staring at her and she was staring at him. And, like, in that moment, I knew, all I heard was, Meg, you were right again. Like, they are together. Like,
They're meant to be together.
Yeah, and like the music that was playing, it just was so magical. And as much as they tried to fight it, like, we can't be together, so we're just gonna push our love aside. The second they laid eyes on each other, you just knew that they're in love.
And I like how Catherine, attempted suicide for real this time to prove that,
that's the length that she would go to.
Don't cut your wrists, people. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
PSA, that's not what you do to get what you want.
That's not what you do. Don't do it.
Yeah,
it's
she's
fiction.
a horrible role model.
Horrible.
Horrible.
So, sorry,
so Francis gets on his horse. I told you he was going to ride in on his horse.
He did. He jumps off, and we see the altercation between Francis and Bash, which, you know, it kind of made me feel really bad for Francis because Bash just nails him one right in the face.
Yeah.
And Francis gets this nasty, like, bloody nose and his hair is all scraggly and he's in, like, all black. He looks like he should be in Hamlet.
Yeah.
Really.
My poor baby.
I wanted him to start reciting, like, that monologue in Hamlet. To be or not to be. He's in a graveyard. I don't know. It's just very Hamlet-esque.
Yeah.
But Mary's standing there in between them after she's pulled them off of each other. And she looks at both. Bash over there looks so hot and dirty. Francis just looks like a pipsqueak. I was like, that's so not nice to do that to him.
I saw something completely different than you.
What'd you see?
Well, I saw Francis looking like a man and hot and standing up to Bash, but Bash also looked good. They're both manly.
Cute.
So, but here's where I have to jump in and say something. We had a fan comment on the YouTube, our YouTube.
The YouTube? You sound like my grandma.
The YouTube. The YouTube on the internet.
The interwebs.
So we missed something last week, and I don't even want to admit it because we're so good.
Uh-oh, what'd we miss?
But, so
Pray tell.
in last week's episode, there was a scene where Mary and Bash were supposed to go riding, and Mary shows up a little late, and she says to Bash, she goes, "I'm sorry, I overslept." So the girl who commented on the YouTube, so sorry, I would look up your name, but I got to keep going. So she said, you guys, you totally skipped over that scene. It was so important. Mary didn't oversleep. She was late because she's pregnant. God, you're good. Phil, you are so
And here's
good.
the irony. Ready? My theory is now that she's married with Francis,
She's pregnant with
she's
Bash's baby.
That's right.
So the reason
I can't. This is so gory,
Where's the dramatic gopher?
When I read the comment, I immediately believed. I was like, I'm a believer in that. I love that. I'm a believer. And then the second that she separates Francis and Bash from the fight, Mary jumps back and grabs her stomach. She grabs her stomach. Rewatch. That's exactly what happened because I was looking at for the whole time. Phil saw. I saw. Mary's pregnant.
Anything could happen.
So, shout out to that to
the YouTube. And
we will give you a huge shout out next week. We'll have your name written down. We're so sorry.
I'll get it.
Okay. I don't know. I think I would love this plot twist. I really, really would.
No. Do not wind her up. That is a big gun, and she is baby crazy.
Oh, what?
Oh, I
just had to throw that one in.
Yeah. You were doing so great. And then
where's that from?
Remove your finger off the trigger.
I don't know. I don't know if I can fall in line with that one because we saw it in the full kind of like flash forward that Nostradamus had that we saw at the end. Mary is like, "I will give you children. I will give you children." So obviously she hasn't had a child.
Well, she could be lying like Catherine did.
Phil, it could be Phil's theory. I will give you, Francis, a child, but she might be pregnant with Bash baby, which we never saw them.
But like,
so,
why? Well, and then why would the only person Mary, as far as we know, has slept with is Francis, and she consummated something with Francis.
That's not true.
What do you mean that's not true?
I don't know. They could have. What? You don't think Bash and Mary could have time?
Bashed? No. Mashed?
Yeah, mashed.
I don't think they did. I honestly don't.
No, I don't think so.
Is it?
It's up for a vote.
When?
Yeah, we're all looking
vote. When?
Yes. Did Mary and Bash have sex? Raise your hand. No.
No, I haven't
No.
seen it.
If you think Mary and Bash had sex, raise your hand. Phil has his hand up in the booth.
Sorry, Phil.
The cheese stands alone.
The cheese stand. No, I don't think
But
they
it's
did.
a great plot twist.
It would be a great plot
is.
twist, but I don't think they had sex. I think if anything, she's pregnant.
And
if
I
she
will
is
say-
pregnant, she's pregnant with Francis's baby, and then she might have a miscarriage, and that's.
Oop, I have a similar prediction as far as being pregnant, but we hope no one has a miscarriage.
But here's the
Maybe
again,
Lola's pregnant.
Now that
You son of a bitch.
The worst friend ever, Lola.
I'm so sorry. I just took it. I took it.
You're stepping on everybody's stuff tonight.
I'm not. I gotta
Erase
leave.
it.
I gotta go, guys.
Oh, mayonnaise.
We'll get to
I'm
predictions
pissing
later.
people off.
You could never.
Never.
Not with that beautiful face
I'm
of
just
yours.
going to talk in a British accent the rest of the day.
You should, because accents
Somebody
don't
will.
count tonight on
on
Reign
Reign, so they're not
Thursdays.
going to count tonight on AfterBuzz TV. People are going to get annoyed. So, okay, sorry. Where were we? Megan, can you get us back on track, please?
Yeah. You know, we were just talking about the scene where Francis and Bash had the fight, and then, you know, Mary came and broke it up, and they said choose, and then the scene cuts, and it brings us back to Mary storming into Catherine's quarters saying, what's going on? And then that's when Catherine kind of cuts herself to prove we kind of already covered that. Switch gears. Now where we are is King Henry announcing that the Queen of England is dead.
So Bloody Mary has died. That's who the Queen of England currently is, Queen Mary, which is ironic because Mary, Queen of Scots.
Real original name.
Well, Mary was popular back then. Kind of like Emma when Friends was on. Remember when Rachel named her baby Emma? Everybody, like, there was like a baby boom.
Our systems detect that a host has wandered off the site.
All right. By the way, the King's speech, I really love this. He was
funny.
He was really great. I mean, just so much power and almost desperation in a way of like, you will do this and it needs to happen right now.
Yeah. You will claim the throne or your cousin Elizabeth will take the throne. You do it now. And he said it when you guys, that scene, he had the best outfit I have ever seen.
Henry was looking hot tonight again.
Oh, Henry, DILF.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, last week I said that Sandy Cohen from The OC was my all-time favorite TV DILF. I changed my mind. It's Rufus from Gossip Girl.
Okay, why doesn't she get the beep?
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on right now?
Okay, so the king gives this amazing speech. He basically is like, Mary, you're like, we're doing this now. You will marry. And I love how he still hasn't decided. Like, he still hasn't decided which one of his sons she should marry.
Right.
And Mary immediately, so ballsy, is like, you do not control my life. I control it.
You will not bully me.
Yeah. Bully. Oh.
Best word ever.
Yeah.
Don't bully me, King Henry.
Such a hot button word.
Bully me.
2014.
Yeah.
Who knew it would be back then too in France?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you bully me. I loved that scene between them. And then we go to Mary alone in her quarters, and Queen Catherine comes in to deliver her the news from the Vatican. And
wait, what about Kenna? Can we talk about?
Do you want to talk
No,
about
no.
Kenna before we get into this?
Let's save Kenna.
We'll save. We gotta save his favorite. Phil wants to save his best for last.
Okay.
Kenna.
So Queen Catherine comes in with this news from the Vatican,
right?
And it's like, on this piece of paper, it's whether Basher's legitimized or he is not. This is going to be your deciding factor. Leaves it with Mary, and as soon as she did that, I was like, that is not a real letter. There's nothing.
So you thought there was writing on the letter?
But I thought there was nothing. Like, it was.
Do you think it was blank, or do you think that there was actual words?
I thought there was actual words, and it was what Catherine had wrote. Or
So did I. I thought
write.
that she forged a letter.
Oh, I thought it was like legit the letter from the Vatican, but then I knew it wasn't because I was looking for that old school like seal, like the Vatican seal, like
the wax.
The wax.
Yeah.
The wax
And
stamp.
do you know what I did notice? There was discrepancy and a little because in the scene where she gives the letter to Mary, there is no seal, but in the scene where Mary goes and hugs Francis and she has the letter, there's a big red wax seal on it, and it's a blank piece of paper. So continuity error. I caught it.
Or maybe here's the thing: we never actually saw when Mary opened it up. We never actually saw what was in it, so it could actually be something. I don't know. Maybe it could be the thing legitimizing him, but because of Catherine's speech, she may have been like, you know what, I really do like Francis, so maybe Bash shouldn't see this.
Yeah. Well, we see Mary then go in to Bash, and as soon as he showed up, he was the first one on the screen. I'm like, Team Francis just won this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking. That was really sad for me.
Why?
Well, this is the thing, because she has such good chemistry with, like, all three of these actors have great chemistry, no matter which one, like, the brothers do, Mary and Bash, Mary and Francis. And so that scene between Bash and Mary, like we haven't even really seen Francis for, like, 3 or 4 episodes. Like, they have allowed the audience to truly fall in love with Bash and to see him as king.
Totally.
And so you kind of, and, props to his acting, because I just saw the world crush down on him, and he was just, and when he said to her, just at least tell me you love me. And then she said, I love you, like, Bash. And he's like, but tell me the whole thing. But I love Francis more. Oh,
I feel super bad for him because it simply reminded me that he was only doing all of this for Mary. Like, he wasn't really given a choice in the matter, but he knew that he had feelings for Mary. So he was like, crap, like, the people are going to be mad. Like, this is going to cause a lot of turmoil. I'm changing the line of succession. That's a big deal. But he did it for Mary. And
for his brother Francis, because they both truly believed that they were that this would save Francis's life. As much as it would hurt him, in the end, it would save his life. And and Bash never wanted this. He really didn't. And he went along with it because, exactly, you're right. He knew it would make Mary happy and it would save the brother, his brother that he loves very much.
He was
so now
fine
I wasn't watching it like that. I didn't feel bad for him. I just felt like, oh, she's going to go back to her first love. We always go back to our first love. That's her first.
God, I hope not.
Well, the one that takes your virginity. Yeah. I can't with you. You always go back to that one. So I was just like, okay, that's what's going to happen. And Bash is more like the bad boy, that she's free and can be herself. And there's no responsibility, really, when they're out and having fun. And he said that. So, but now I do feel bad for him. Totally. He's still dreamy, though. His eyes are to die.
Gosh, I follow him on Facebook, and I get so excited.
And I'm glad they finally fought. Like, the brothers had to come to head, and even though it's supposed to be bros before hoes, like, you're supposed to fight over the girl that you love. And so I'm glad it finally came to head, and
they got to punch each other and stuff.
And that's what boys do. They fight it out.
But then it led to the scene that was so just... It's so cliche. Mary running down the hall. Mary running down the hall and leaping into Francis's arms.
It was
saying,
perfect.
I love you.
And I don't care who knows it.
And it was so awkward. I wish it would have been an empty hall, because it was really awkward that there was that group of people just chatting in the background.
Phil said that too.
I didn't like it, Phil. I completely agree with you.
Well, it appears they like audiences in this day and age. So.
Yeah, I didn't even think it was cliche. I've been waiting for that moment for so long. I didn't care how it happened. It was
really sweet. And it did feel like everything was kind of right. I was still sad for Bash, though.
Yeah, of course.
He still has his beautiful
But see,
lips.
I loved Bash when he was the bastard, when he had no care in the world and he was hot, like kind of hitting on some of the handmaids and like doing whatever he wanted around the castle. Like, that was cool, hot Bash. But then I stopped liking him when he started taking Francis's girl. Well, I never stopped liking him. I just don't want him to be with Mary.
Do you know what's really funny? That Bash and Francis, both of them have at one point been into Lola, and they both have also been into Mary. So it's interesting that
And Francis has been into them both.
When was Bash?
Literally.
Oh,
for fuck's sake. Sorry, I thought that we were like doing that tonight.
It's a consummation
Stop
episode.
leaving me out to dry. Like, that was a thing we were doing.
I was late. I'm sorry. I missed it.
Jeez. I'm like kind
I
of
missed the sexual pun. Now it's funny. You're spot on.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, no, like all like four of those. I don't know. I feel like those are the four that are.
When did Bash have time with Lola?
It was like back.
She was just nurturing him back to health. They didn't like.
No, but they kind of had. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't do it. That's why Francis wins for both.
Yeah, Francis won for both, but like Bash and Lola had like a little thing to the point where Mary even was like, "You and Bash."
Because remember, Lola got kind of upset with Mary because Bash kind of was hitting on Mary, and Lola was like, "But I liked him."
Mm-hmm. That just makes Bash a whore.
But that's the Bash I like.
They're all whores.
That's the Bash I like.
Speaking of whores, let's talk about Kenna.
You ready, Phil? Phil, are you ready?
Okay, I watched it with Megan, so we were divided into two teams tonight. But when she gave that look of like, oh, I know where that is, when Francis and Lola came back. We both laughed.
Because we were like, oh, that's because Kenna's probably been in that whorehouse.
She's a whore.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
No,
I love her.
You know what? I gave Kenna, as much of a whore as Kenna is, I give her major props this episode. Like, finally, she's like using her assets to her advantage. She's coming into the king, and she is completely controlling him,
That's why
knowing how to.
I wanted to talk about her because I didn't get that whole seduction scene. Like, what's the motive? What's the point? I didn't get it.
Yeah, because to me, I was like, girl, this is rock bottom. You're literally like begging him, saying like, you can have me whenever you want. I don't care if you have anyone else. Put me up somewhere and I'll stay here and I'll just be your
But
I didn't get it.
No, so she, first of all, the king didn't want to see anybody, and Kenna gets in the room by just having the guards say, does it help? She wanted me to tell you that she's naked under her robe. And then the whole seduction to actually get his attention, to actually listen to her. And basically what she is getting from the king is she's saying, you let me date every single man here in court. You set up, give me week by week until I pick one. And then whatever one I pick, you will let me marry them. But no, you and I will always be able to, you will still always be able to sleep.
What's the point? I still don't get it.
The point is that Kenna's not looked down upon in court because she's going to get a title if she marries a nobleman in court.
Oh.
And so she'll still look good and, be in the favor of everybody there and not tarnish her image or her family's name, while she can still sleep with the king and get what she wants from him and like enjoy. So basically she's getting her cake and eating
But
it
isn't
too.
she already known as the king's mistress in court? So doesn't she already have that stigma?
I don't think it's.
I think that she has the stigma of she was the king's mistress in court for 5 hot seconds till she blew it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now she's like the has-been mistress that is like bloop to the side.
So
but she still
basically
has to stick around and hang out with Mary with her head hanging down.
So she just like basically like changed her destiny by being like, yo, king. And basically she gets her pick of the litter. She gets to marry any guy at court because it's going to be the king's decision. And
I thought for a second that the king was going to set her up with Bash. But then I realized he had way different intentions for Bash that weren't nice at all.
Oh, God. We'll get into that.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
Phil, you don't have any other things to say about
Kenna?
the love of your life?
And shit naked.
Hello.
She was. Well, yeah, she was.
That silhouette was killer.
Yeah, so I mean, I commend her. She...
You can't even speak!
Spit it out, Phil.
What's going on in the booth back there?
Consummation.
I wish.
You're not the only one.
I mean, hey, all I ever hear you guys talk about is Nostradamus and this and that.
Not so Nostradamus anymore. Not
Hashtag Nostro.
Not Nostradamus. Okay, sorry.
They get it.
I like Keaton's. I really do. I like that theory, especially it did come at a time when I think what caught us three off guard was it happened right after his speech, and then Mary was like, we talked about the bullying, and he was just so down on his luck, and it was like, well, this seems like a weird time.
Yeah, it seems like a weird time, and that's what I initially thought was, why is she doing this right now?
Because he's at a weak point,
and that's how she got him the first time.
Yep,
he was getting pestered, and things were going, and her like building him up, and like, you're a strong king, you're a smart king. That's how she got him the first time,
and then letting him control her in the bedroom, which we saw.
Oh my God! And then he goes, "Stop." Now I'm in control. I was like, oh,
she knows.
My
she knows
God.
Hello,
Allah, take over control. Take over control.
Props to the whore, Kenna, who, girl, get it.
I love saying that word.
And then she calls out.
And then she calls out Lola. Little innocent, smart Lola.
I'm disappointed in her. In the beginning, I thought she was the smart, level-headed, reliable one.
She is.
I know. She had one point of weakness, and I think she's gonna get knocked up. I think she's definitely knocked
Predictions
up.
are for later.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not there yet. But yeah, Lola. I really thought that Lola was the sturdy one that had Mary's back, and I'm kind of sad. I'm disappointed in her, but at least she knows that she's got to keep her mouth shut and just move on.
Yeah,
you got played. You got used.
Girl got played. Well, I remember when she decided actually to sleep with Francis, they were thinking she was never going to see him again. She's going to have a little roll in the hay and be done with a little one-night stand. Not so much.
Nope.
Well, remember, even tonight she said, he was joking about, I'll move to Switzerland or Sweden or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And, maybe, he gave that story of like, maybe we'll meet again. And she says, hopefully not, hopefully you have kids and you'll be happy, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think in some sense, that's kind of coming to fruition, not how she expected, because obviously she has to see him in his happiness every day. Or we don't know for how long, but that seems to be the case.
So getting to the big culmination.
The climax? Is that what you're going to say?
The climax. Dun, da, 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 da. And then Kate Middleton walked down the aisle.
Breathtaking.
Gorgeous.
Breathtaking.
To die.
Perfect. Wanna be you, Mary. Oh.
We're not there yet. We're talking about the wedding. We're talking about the wedding.
Defile this beautiful moment.
Of course, it's a man. All he's thinking about is the sex that's going to happen at the end of the wedding night.
Okay, first off, right? They had their wedding, and then I forget who it was, but they walk up and they're like, "It's time for the consummation."
Oh, Greer.
It was Greer.
That was awkward. That's so awkward. I don't know if anybody watches Game of Thrones, but I remember they've done this consummation thing in Game of Thrones a couple times, and it always just, I can't believe that's how they did it.
Why does this exist?
Because this is.
Well, thank God it doesn't anymore.
Well, yeah, this is why. Because when it comes to royals, the consummation is basically the sealing of the deal. It's like the biggest. It's like the biggest thing. It's because they want heirs, so they have to make sure.
They want a virgin, and
that she's a virgin, that they actually have sex, and
they want to see penetration.
That's the signing of the contract is
2 words: performance anxiety. No? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
With all of her girlfriends and Lola standing there watching her.
You guys,
and then
we have, before you even say the dirty words that I know that you're gonna say, we have to talk about the wedding and Nostradamus' vision and her finding out that the Queen of England's not really dead. Go.
Oh.
We're going back to the wedding.
Oh, yeah, I want to go back to the wedding. Let's just go back to the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, so this beautiful dress, all the ladies looked gorgeous in their silver thing, and they get married, and it's all happy-go-lucky. And during the wedding, we see Mary's mama, talking to Catherine, and drop a bombshell that she paid off somebody to announce that the Queen of England was dead when she actually was not. Catherine all of a sudden is like, what? She was completely caught off guard. She got played in her own game. Exactly. And Marie de Guise, she just was like, well, we got it done, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Catherine couldn't even argue, because Catherine's like, I'm alive. I'm back a queen. My son's going to be king. He's not going to die. Catherine couldn't even be mad.
Yeah.
How do you respect what Mama did? Mama Mary did?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I wanted Frances and Mary to be together. But the thing that I can't believe is how she pulled one over on King Henry.
Yeah.
How come King Henry wasn't like, show me the official documents,
No, here's
prove
the
this
okay.
to me?
Okay, because it aligns with what King Henry. You think King Henry's going to be like, show me?
Because it's what he wanted.
Yeah, if it forces Mary to marry one of his sons.
Oh, he wanted it so bad he didn't.
He
even
wanted
care.
England.
He wanted.
Yeah, and again, he and especially the way he's been played, it goes along with everything he wants.
God, it would have been so cool if he was like, screw this, I want England so bad, marry you, me, let's do the damn thing.
Oh, Catherine, you're...
Yeah, I'm still gonna kill you. Anywho's.
Yeah, no, I that was definitely a bombshell. I didn't even see that one coming. And,
me either.
But, props to Mary's mom. She's sneaky, and she had to be. She is a woman in a man's world. Right after Mary was born, that's when her father died. She explained this whole thing. Your father died, you were still an infant, and I had to become the king when I didn't get any titles or anything. But I had to take control, keep you safe because you were the queen, and run the country at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She sent her away because she made this deal. I loved when she confronted Catherine and was like, you told me that you would keep my daughter safe and that you would make sure she married your son, the King of France. You're going back on your deal. I loved when she called her out.
Yeah.
And she's like, you let all your stupid hocus pocus shit get in the way.
And at one point in this episode, Catherine even said, I'm defeated. If you want to do something about this, it's in your hands. I'm defeated.
So she
I'm
did
like,
it.
oh, Catherine.
Yeah, I can't believe those words came out of Catherine's mouth that she was defeated.
I mean, she was like,
she was like getting like practicing getting her head.
She's like, I'm defeated, but I'm gonna look so good.
Good doing it.
And I knew that there was something up with the letter from Catherine regarding the legitimacy, because why didn't the king announce it when he was announcing what happened with? I was like, something's off here, because he announced the death of Elizabeth, but didn't announce what's
not Elizabeth, Mary
of Mary, Bloody Mary. And Elizabeth. So I was just thinking, like, why wouldn't he announce that? That's like what everyone's waiting for.
Totally.
So I knew something was up. I just didn't know what.
Yeah. But it was awesome that Mary ultimately had to decide for herself, and it wasn't the Pope's ruling that made her decide.
And I melted for Catherine when she did that. Like, that was so sweet.
That
was so clever and so smart.
Catherine has a heart for somebody other than her kin.
Which is not true, because it's still her kin.
Oh, yeah, it goes back to her.
Well, now it is. But so back to the wedding. That was a big bombshell during the ceremony. Beautiful wedding, fun flowers falling, beautiful dress, spinning around, dancing, consummation.
It's time.
It's time.
The consummation.
Oh, wait, no, stop it, wait. There's one more thing we need to talk about.
Oh, crap.
Francis and Bash's,
goodbye.
Goodbye. So, I'm so sorry.
They're piss off.
Sorry.
Basically, Francis goes into Bash's room and says, I won. You got to go. Like, if you know what's good for you.
Yeah. And he's like, when you won, I left. So you do the same for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I would say yes, Francis, yes. But then Bash tries to argue, no, well, if you really, like, if you were okay with me being here, like, I could stay. Like, they would be fine. I would be okay. And
like, if you're behind me, the people will forgive me too.
And Francis is like, yeah, well, I'm not.
And Mary said, like, we have to keep Bash safe.
But it's bad business for him to be there, because
bad business.
She does have love for him.
Bad biz. All right. So
absolutely. Well,
so Bash is on his way out.
The king stops him. Says, before you go, I need you to see what you've lost. Right?
Which transitions into, hit it, Phil.
Hard to get with or even mess with. The first she said was next on her list, and
for those of you that cannot see us, we are dancing in our seats,
being sexy
to Salt and Pepper, old school 80s.
Okay, so Mary and Francis are doing the dirty with an audience.
Is it 90s?
And then, I at first, when the king handcuffed him, I was like, oh God, he's gonna just kill Bash right now. Like, that's kind of what I thought. And then all of a sudden we see Bash get thrown into the consummation chambers and have to watch the woman he loves and the brother that he betrayed because he loved.
He wanted it to be etched in his mind. What better way to
It was
etch?
just too much.
And then they make eye contact.
Oh, Mary made eye contact with him, and Francis did. Like, talk about buzzkill right there.
Performance anxiety much?
Okay, if you're Francis, I feel like in a weird way he would be like, okay, here, watch me do this. Whereas Mary might actually be like,
I wish Francis maybe would have gotten a little more into it when he saw
more thrusting.
F you. But this is not. I don't really think this
that
is a
is
family
the
show.
definition of adding insult to injury.
Salt in the wound.
Salt in the wound. Like, I felt so bad for Bash. Like, I felt like my skin was crawling. I felt dirty. Like, I hated that. Yeah, like,
I don't like
that's
it.
just so messed up. And I actually felt so bad for him. That was too much. Too much bashing on Bash.
Well, and it's like, why would Henry do that? Why? Like, what did he do, Henry? What did he do to you?
In a sick, twisted way, what I liked about it was that Henry was saying to Bash, like, hey, you know what? You were my favorite son despite being a bastard, and you could have been the king, but you weren't strong enough. In Stardust, a movie, right?
I love Stardust.
There you go. To
Robert De Niro's in drag in that movie is hysterical. Sorry.
Thank you. To find the next king, the prince is all. It's the last prince to be alive, and there's 9 of them, right? And everyone gets killed, and the last one is the king. And so in this sense, right, the two of them fought, and ultimately Francis won. And so the king looked at Bash and was like, you let me down, and now you have to watch this.
So do you think it's effective? Like, say that if you guys have an ex that you always go back to, do you think if you were to see him smashing another chick, would it be effective for you? Like, to where you're like, I'm not playing those games anymore. I'm not going to keep going back. It would for me.
Oh.
I'd be done.
Yeah.
I don't put up with any crap, so that would never happen to me.
It would be done for me too. That's like harsh.
Yeah, that's too much.
So it would work for you. It would be effective.
Yeah, it's effective, but it just is so unnecessary. That's so unnecessary. I feel.
Henry's harsh. He's a king. He has to be.
Anyhow.
So anyways, within this wedding as well, you know, the consummation happens. They're all married. Nostradamus gets a full vision. Again,
I'm over his visions.
I am
so
too,
done.
but decides not to tell Queen Catherine.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because he does have the full vision that, like, the vision continues that he had earlier, and he actually sees that Francis dies, laying in bed with Mary, and also die.
It's altered because, you know, Clarissa's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, that, and he doesn't really, and again, he didn't fully die. He's just bleeding in his ear.
I think he was dead.
I'm not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe with Nostradamus. I
never
won't
heard
do
that
it.
saying in my
Me
life.
either. Are you kidding? It's
The
Eddie
banana.
Murphy. It's Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop. Oh my God. He's black comedy.
Anyway.
Sorry. Anyways, yeah, like he didn't fully die, so I'm not banking on Nostradamus's and his half visions and gifts.
Yeah, and we know Clarissa is officially alive now. Creepy girl singing some song.
Who, by the way, I thought could have been Clarissa.
I thought it could have been.
Yeah.
Like,
me too.
What mystic or what witch kind of did whatever to you and fixed you?
Wouldn't that have been cool if we find out that it was her?
Yeah,
the song was
what if
so
it
dope.
is a girl who plays Clarissa but
Yeah.
without the makeup on? That would be cool.
Yeah, but that was weird. Like, some girl paid me who paid them to sing this near you. What kind of grapevine tale is that?
Well,
Who told
Clarissa
you to do
knows
this?
how to mess with Nostradamus. She's dealt with him her whole life.
That's her, like,
and
play daddy.
You know, this is the other thing I didn't realize until this episode was that Clarissa is older than Francis. I never realized that. Because she seems much younger.
Oh, you know what? I have another
dirty.
thing that I want to say. I want to say sorry.
Sorry.
We were so harsh on Clarissa last week. And we had some comments on the YouTube like, she doesn't know any better. You know, she was born different and society frowned upon her and they put her in this role. And that's mean that we do this to people. And I was calling her hashtag CC for creepy Clarissa and like all of the above.
It's not funny, but it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I came up with it, so obviously it's hilarious. So yeah, I'm sorry, Clarissa. Sorry, CC. It's effed up what I did. But it's true what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
basically a hashtag
So
sorry, not sorry.
There's no point I think I said, but I get it.
This is so Jemmy, like we're talking in hashtags.
But I think that, you know, to kind of back you up a little bit, it's not that we're, you know, it's the character, you guys, that we're discussing.
Oh,
This
is what I needed.
It's the character that we're discussing. We're not talking about, you know, anything in the real world.
We're never talking about the real
Yeah.
people that play these characters on this fictional show.
I would never say something about that about a real human.
Yeah. So
I am talking about King Francis. Or Prince Francis, whatever. I hate that guy.
But we appreciate you guys for listening and watching.
We do.
Yeah,
I
love the comments. I love it so much.
Yeah, me and you were both going back and forth.
We read them all.
It's been fun.
It's awesome.
And it gets people to apologize.
Yeah, so we'll shout out to you. I feel like we're missing something. Oh, Sebastian, they try to kill Sebastian.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And Sebastian says, "Who paid you to kill me? My brother or
the king?
The king.
Or Catherine.
Or Kath?
No.
Catherine.
No, that's not my prediction.
He said mom. He said brother.
It's not really a prediction if it happened.
Yeah, he said.
No, I'm predicting who.
Well,
I
what
know
did
that
he
someone
say?
paid to kill Francis, but we don't know who.
He said either Francis or somebody else.
Comment. Tell us. We don't know.
It's either the king or Catherine. It's either Henry or Catherine.
Well, Bash takes things into his own hands. He kills those two guys, and he is off on a horse.
See, and now he's back. Like that's the Bash that I knew.
Yeah, his horse.
Like he had that intuition.
Yeah,
he was like,
we both like.
Yeah, that's how to write it. That's how you write it for sure. For sure, that's how it's done. But he's back.
Bash does it.
He had his intuition. He was like, "Oh, these guys think that I'm gonna ride off with them." Ha, yeah, right. Boom.
But he knew very quickly that there were ulterior motives, and that Bash is smart.
He's a soldier.
Yeah.
He's like, and I want him to be that. I don't want him to be tied down and married.
Do we need to leave
You
you
are
alone?
so team Bash.
I'm just team hotness.
I am team.
I like that Francis and Mary are
He
together.
is not as ripped as I expected him to be, though.
Oh God, no.
I know. I'm so glad that Francis is finally back in the castle.
Okay, and this is why I think we're so harsh about like kind of their bodies and stuff, because Nostradamus is not so Nostradamus anymore. It's because all the other CW shows, those guys are like statues. They are like Greek god statues. When they take off their shirts, that is kind of what we're accustomed to with CW shows.
Like, I do the after show of Vampire Diaries, and it's like literally every single guy is like so hot. Their bodies.
Washboard.
I'm not saying these guys aren't hot.
They're so
It's just
hot.
like when they took their shirt off, it just was still. It was like, wow, they're not the washboard.
The desire and the illusion was something we created in our mind, and it just
It's
didn't
still
deliver.
there.
Oh, it's
It
still
is still
there
there,
from the face up.
Except for Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Well, it was never. Let's not even claim that anymore. Like
I never claimed it. Thank God.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's all you.
That never happened.
You take the fall for that.
I have to take the fall. I will
the
fall.
cheese stands alone.
Well, we're gonna get into predictions,
And now,
guys.
your AfterBuzz TV.
Feels like just stop.
Right? Feels like you girls.
off the rails.
This is what happens when all three of us get here together.
Okay, I'm gonna go first, so you can cut it out.
She's like, don't steal my stuff anymore.
Well, like my beautiful Keetin said here earlier, I feel like Lola is pregnant with Francis's baby, because if you noticed that she was crying when they were consummating, and when Francis and her were leaving, and they were like, and she said, "Oh, I hope one day you'll be married with kids, and happy." And when he says it back to her, like, "Oh, I hope you are too," meaning that like they don't have a chance, she was like, "Oh," like side eye, like, "Oh, there won't be a chance for us." So I think she likes him, and I think she's gonna be pregnant with his baby. And I think Mama Mary hired those soldiers to kill Bash.
Woo! Dang it.
Did I steal yours?
No, that's a great one.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I came back with a vengeance, you guys. I am back.
That's a great one.
In it to win it.
You are.
I
Look at Oprah
do
did to you.
not. Yeah, that's Oprah talking. I do not think that Lola is pregnant. How would she have the sex with Francis and then one whole day later knows that she's pregnant? No, she was crying because she like never stood a chance. Anyways, my predictions. I'm going to predict that Mary will find out about Lola and Francis. I think that that's going to come to head. Someone's going to say something, and guess who it's going to be? Kenna, obviously. She's kind of dumb.
Because Kenna's a bitch and a whore.
I'm also going to predict that Greer and the kitchen boy comes back into the picture. We haven't seen him in a while. They were kind of hot and heavy. They were a cute couple. I was super down with it. So I'm going to predict that they come back. I'm going to jump ship with the king tried to kill Bash idea and jump on your ship and ride it all night long. That Mary's mom tried to do that. And then my last prediction
so much
is
consummation.
That my last prediction is that Clarissa and the king hook up. Just kidding. That's a lie. Clarissa will try to do something ridiculous, but die, and then that'll change Francis's fate again.
Whew.
Okay, Phil. I don't get any predictions today, but that's fine. I've talked enough.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. You guys
talk
nailed
over
it. No, you guys had a lot, and I think
I had two.
Yeah, I think the Lola's pregnant. I agree with all of your predictions. I really do. It was a great episode.
The best ever.
Can't wait for next week. I'm really kind of sad it's going to get a little crazy next week again. But where can we find you guys until next week?
Well, oh my God, I'll be on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fahnia Thomas.
And I will be on Instagram at Meagan Medick and Twitter at the Bow Wow Gal.
Phil?
Well, my prediction real fast, definitely continue the conversation, because I think we can move some of this who's the hottest guy to Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I just realized we've been talking for almost an hour, and half of it's like, ooh, this guy's hot.
Yeah. We love hot guys.
We did 5 minutes of Kenna.
Yeah, we did.
Fair enough. But yeah, follow us here at AfterBuzz TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KeetinM33, and here at AfterBuzz on Nashville, Reign, SNL, and
I'm on hiatus.
Yeah,
This is it.
That's it. But can't wait till next week and Consummation.
Go Francis and Mary.
Go home, take a shower.
Oh, hashtag get Keetin on Reign.
Oh, hashtag Meagan and Francis Mary.
Oh,
the last part we should. This was supposed to be news and gossip, but tomorrow morning on the CW, go Meagan.
On the CW, there are rumors all over the internet that they are going to stream a version of the episode that is uncensored with a lot of sex, and it's uncensored because they had to play it on live
Boobies.
TV with a family-friendly version. But tomorrow, you guys go to thecw.com and check it out. You might see something really, really cool.
We're all gonna watch it, and then we're gonna talk about it next week along with the new episode. So
Yes.
join in the conversation. We can start talking about it on online already.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.